When fans tuned into Season 2 of Netflix's Wednesday, most of them expected new monsters, more Nevermore mysteries, and of course, plenty of Addams Family chaos. But I don't think anyone expected this. Out of the shadows of Nevermore's tragic history came one of the strangest, creepiest, and oddly sympathetic characters of the season, Isaac Knight, better known by Pugsley Addams' affectionate nickname, Slurp. This isn't just another zombie. Isaac's story stretches all the way back to Nevermore's past, intertwining with Gomez and Morticia's youth, hidden laboratories, and experiments that should never have been attempted. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today we're breaking down Isaac's full backstory, his resurrection, his powers, his anatomy, and why he may actually be one of the most important characters in Wednesday's universe.
Don't you recognize your star?
Isaac Knight's tragic beginning. Isaac's story begins long before his resurrection as Slurp. Born frail and weak with a failing heart, Isaac was never supposed to survive childhood. Doctors gave him only a few months to live, and most of his early years were spent bedridden. But instead of giving up, Isaac spent his time sketching inventions, dreams of machines that could do the impossible. When his heart finally gave out, Isaac pulled off a miracle. He built himself a mechanical clockwork heart, a ticking device that kept him alive when medicine had failed. The invention saved his life, but it also changed him. It hardened him, fueled his obsession with survival, and planted the seed of an ambition that would eventually destroy him. By the time he entered Nevermore Academy, he wasn't just another student. He was considered a genius, one of the greatest minds to ever walk those halls. But like most geniuses in Gothic stories, his creations grew more dangerous with time.
I designed this machine to remove outcast abilities. If I can take
the sister he couldn't save. For all his brilliance, Isaac had one weakness: his sister, Francoise. Unlike Isaac, Francoise wasn't dying of a frail body. She was cursed with something far darker, a hide condition. Slowly, it was killing her, tearing her apart from the inside. Isaac's devotion to saving her defined everything he did. With the help of his mentor, Augustus Stonehurst, Isaac built a secret laboratory in Iago Tower. There, he created a machine capable of removing an outcast's abilities entirely. His plan? Use the device to cure Francoise of her hide nature once and for all. But this wasn't a cure without cost. To power the machine, Isaac was willing to sacrifice his closest friend, Gomez Addams. That's right, the very same Gomez we know and love almost became fuel for Isaac's twisted invention. The plan ended in disaster. Morticia Frump, desperate to save Gomez, severed Isaac's right hand. The act triggered a massive explosion that killed Isaac instantly, destroyed his laboratory, and left his work unfinished.
More than happy to help his friend, but Isaac...
From genius to legend, Isaac may have died, but his story didn't end there. The explosion left behind strange consequences. His severed hand gained a life of its own, crawling into legend as none other than Thing, the most famous hand in pop culture. Meanwhile, Gomez lost his outcast abilities forever. Stonehurst, the mentor who betrayed Isaac, stole his notes and used them for twisted experiments, transferring outcast abilities into normies. And Francoise? Instead of being saved, she was imprisoned in Willow Hill Psychiatric Hospital, where Stonehurst faked her death and used her as a test subject. As for Isaac, Morticia and Gomez buried his body in an unmarked grave beneath the skull tree. But the legend of his ticking clockwork heart lived on. They say if you stand beneath the skull tree on a quiet night, you can still hear the faint, haunting tick of Isaac's invention.
I think I'm gonna call him Slurp.
Resurrection of the Slurp. Fast forward to the events of Wednesday Season 2. During a story swap, Ajax tells the tale of the Skull Tree. Pugsley Addams, lonely and desperate to fit in, sneaks out to visit the tree during the founder's pyre. That's when it happens. Pugsley hears the ticking of Isaac's clockwork heart and accidentally sparks it with his powers. The result? Isaac claws his way out of his grave, a half-rotten corpse with cloudy eyes and a hole in his head. Pugsley, thrilled to have finally found a friend who accepts him, names the creature Slurp. What begins as a creepy friendship quickly spirals into horror. The pet zombie phase. At first, Pugsley tries to treat Slurp like a secret pet. He hides him in Eugene's bee shack, feeds him mystery meat sandwiches, and even chains him up like a bizarre science experiment. Eugene, ever the voice of reason, warns Pugsley this is a terrible idea. But Pugsley refuses to let go of the one friend who doesn't laugh at him. Slurp, however, isn't just any corpse. He projectile vomits honey, rejects normal food, but eagerly devours chicken brains hidden in sandwiches. Slowly, his body begins to regenerate. His brain grows back piece by piece. He becomes stronger, faster, and more dangerous. It doesn't take long before Slurp breaks free of his chains. He wanders the school grounds, kills Nevermore's driver's ed teacher, and feasts on his brain. Pugsley tries to see the bright side. Slurp never tries to eat his brains after all, but the truth is obvious. The creature he's befriended is a predator. The monster evolves. By the time Slurp returns to the shack, he's already evolving. His wounds are healing, his brain is regenerating, and he's even attempting speech. Pugsley believes he's calling him bruh. Eugene insists he's saying brains. Either way, the reality is clear. Isaac Knight is slowly coming back, but hunger defines him. During a camping trip, Slurp escapes and goes on another killing spree. He nearly devours Gomez in a bathroom, almost attacks Morticia in the woods, and forces Wednesday herself to intervene. In one of the season's most chilling moments, Wednesday impales him through the brain and pins him to a tree. For a moment, it seems like the story of Isaac Knight is over once again, but this is Nevermore, and monsters don't stay buried for long.
You've given me a second chance at life. I don't want to waste it.
Isaac regains his humanity. Taken to Willow Hill Psychiatric Hospital, Slurp should have rotted away in captivity, but hunger is a powerful force. After escaping and consuming another brain, something astonishing happens. Isaac regains not just strength, but consciousness. He can talk, think, and remember who he is. No longer just a monster, Isaac Knight is back, and his mission hasn't changed. He's still determined to save Francoise.
That was always my dream, to slay the monster inside you.
The family reunion. In one of Season 2's most shocking twists, Isaac reunites with Francoise. Still alive, still cursed by her hide condition. Alongside Tyler, they form an unlikely trio. For the first time in decades, Isaac has purpose again. But his methods, they're as dark as ever. He wants to break into Willow Hill and reclaim his machine, the one Stonehurst stole years ago. This time, he'll use it to strip Francoise of her hide powers. To fuel the machine, he doesn't hesitate to kill. Professor Orloff becomes one of his victims, his brain devoured to fuel Isaac's continued regeneration. Agnes, ever the brave spy, tries to intervene, but ends up captured, saved only when Wednesday and Enid staged a desperate rescue. In the chaos, Isaac's machine goes into meltdown, exploding just as it did all those years ago. Everyone escapes, but the echoes of Isaac's obsession remain. Anatomy of Slurp. So what exactly is Isaac after Pugsley brings him back? He's definitely not your average zombie. First off, there's his clockwork heart, the same invention that saved his life as a boy. It's basically his engine, the thing that makes resurrection possible, but it's also his Achilles heel. Pull it out, and Isaac is done for. Then there's his regenerative brain. Unlike shambling corpses in horror flicks, Isaac's brain actually rebuilds itself when he eats. That's why we see him go from a rotting ghoul to someone who can talk, plan, and think like a human again. His flesh works the same way. At first, he looks like a corpse, but the more he feeds, the faster his body repairs itself, healing decay at an insane speed. Of course, This comes with zombie hunger. For a while, he had to eat brains to keep going. Eventually, once his regeneration was complete, that hunger fades. And finally, Isaac's got telekinesis, a psychic edge that makes him way more dangerous than your typical undead.
Now I am complete.
Personality breakdown. Isaac is a character of contradictions. As a boy, he was fragile, desperate, and brilliant, willing to risk death for survival. After building his heart, he became cold and ambitious, blinded by the dream of saving his sister. As Slurp, he starts almost childlike, bonding with Pugsley over food and friendship. But as his mind returns, so does his ruthless ambition. He doesn't care about anyone except Francoise. To him, other lives are expendable, stepping stones to save the only family he has left. Yet, despite the horror, there's a tragic thread running through Isaac's story. Every crime, every murder, every act of cruelty comes back to one thing: his love for his sister.
Isaac! You have something that belongs to me.
Powers and weaknesses. So, what exactly can Isaac do? Well, for starters, he's no ordinary zombie. He's got telekinesis, super strength, crazy durability, and a crazy fast healing factor that kicks in every time he snacks on brains. And let's not forget, he's still a genius inventor, which makes him just as dangerous with a toolbox as he is in a fight. But here's the catch. Isaac is not unstoppable. His entire life depends on that ticking clockwork heart, and if you rip it out, game over. During his zombie phase, he had to eat brains to keep himself going, and even after regenerating, he's still not immortal. Add in his blind obsession with saving Francoise, and honestly, that might be his biggest weakness of all.
Applaud the effort. You keep me talking while your faithful right hand takes it.
Why Isaac Knight matters. So, why does Isaac's story matter so much in the grander scheme of Wednesday? For one, he's tied directly to the Addams family's past. He nearly killed Gomez, created Thing by accident, and shaped the very legends that haunt Nevermore. Second, his notes and inventions opened the door for Stonehurst's experiments, twisted science that threatens the entire outcast world. And finally, Isaac blurs the line between monster and man. He's not a villain in the traditional sense. He's a tragic figure, consumed by obsession, yet driven by love. In many ways, he mirrors Wednesday herself, a brilliant mind willing to push boundaries, but without her moral compass to pull her back.
Mother, cut it off!
Our nerdy thoughts. Isaac Knight, or Slurp, is one of the most fascinating characters Wednesday has introduced. He's not just a zombie side character. He's a genius inventor, a tragic brother, a monster born of grief, and the accidental creator of Thing. His story ties the past and present of Nevermore together in ways few characters could. And let's be honest, watching Pugsley try to hide a zombie-eating brain as his pet might be one of the most bizarre, hilarious, and heartbreaking arcs of the season. So the next time you hear a faint ticking beneath the skull tree, remember, it's not just a ghost story. It's the legacy of Isaac Knight, the boy who built his own heart, the genius who played God, and the creature who came back as Slurp.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.